The image is grainy, blurred. A U-boat cut in half, its bow twisted like a snapped bone. Superimposed, a fragment of a radio intercept. Type 21 operational, but no impact. How could a weapon so advanced, whispered in the shadows of the Kriegsmarine's command, shatter against the tides of war without leaving a trace? The Type 21 was heralded as the electric submarine, a revolution beneath the waves. Yet by May 1945, it lay scattered in shipyards and harbors, too late to rewrite the Atlantic's deadly ledger. The paradox screams, a technological marvel built in secret, designed to dominate, yet utterly failing to alter the course of conflict. What invisible forces conspired to render the Type 21 impotent? Why did the German High Command pin their hopes on this Leviathan, only to watch it drown in obsolescence before it even surfaced? Behind the Type 21's conception lies a battlefield of competing ambitions. In 1942, as Allied convoys tightened the noose, German naval engineers sought to leapfrog existing submarine limitations: slow dives, short underwater endurance, noisy diesel engines. The Kriegsmarine's chief engineer, poring over tattered blueprints, envisioned a vessel capable of sustained, submerged speeds up to 17 knots, far surpassing the Type 7's 7 knots underwater. The Type 21's streamlined hull, larger battery arrays, and snorkel technology promised a ghostly presence beneath the waves, invisible to sonar and air patrols. Yet, these advances clashed with wartime industrial realities, factories devastated by bombing, skilled labor shortages, and constant sabotage. A faded photograph shows workers assembling hull sections side by side, faces smudged with grime and fear. How could such an ambitious project survive the chaos of late-war Germany? Was this dream doomed from the start, trapped between innovation and desperation? The Type 21's design was a marvel, on paper. Measuring 76 meters in length with a submerged displacement exceeding 1,600 tons, it housed 6 bow torpedo tubes and an unprecedented 23 torpedoes. Its battery capacity doubled previous models, enabling nearly 5 hours at top submerged speed, a tactical game-changer. Yet, the very features that made it formidable also seeded vulnerability. The complex electric motors required rare materials and precision manufacturing, scarce in a collapsing war economy. Blueprints reveal an intricate cooling system designed to prevent overheating during high-speed, underwater runs, but field reports later cite frequent malfunctions. The hull's welded sections, rushed and uneven, compromised structural integrity. A torn engineering manual from 1944 lies open to a page marked "Critical Failures." Why did the Kriegsmarine press forward, ignoring these glaring weaknesses? Were they blinded by the lure of technological supremacy, or trapped by a fatal overconfidence in their secret weapon? The first operational deployment came in early 1945, as the Third Reich's last gasps echoed across the Atlantic. A single squadron was hurriedly dispatched, equipped with Type 21 boats, tasked with breaking Allied supply lines. Expectations soared. Commanders believed these submarines could evade detection, outpace destroyers, and decimate convoys with impunity. Yet the reality was starkly different. Reports describe crews wrestling with untested systems, torpedoes jamming in tubes, batteries failing mid-mission. An intercepted Allied radio message from March 1945 mocks the ghost subs that never haunt. A photo captures a Type 21 surfacing under heavy bombardment, its crew faces etched with exhaustion and disbelief. How did the Kriegsmarine's elite allow these vessels to enter combat prematurely? Was this desperation or a calculated gamble? What cracks in command and communication allowed hope to wither so swiftly? Allied forces quickly adapted to the Type 21 threat. deploying new anti-submarine tactics and technologies. The U.S. Navy introduced refined sonar arrays capable of detecting the type's distinctive acoustic signatures, while RAF Coastal Command intensified air patrols equipped with improved radar. Instruction manuals for escort commanders were rewritten to counter the supposed silent hunter. A declassified memo details a special task force dedicated to hunting Type 21 boats, coordinating depth charge patterns and hedgehog mortars in complex formations. Meanwhile, intelligence intercepts revealed German production bottlenecks, informing Allied strategic bombing campaigns. A map pinned to a briefing room wall marks the dwindling locations of Type 21 construction yards, each red dot a target soon to be destroyed. How did the Allies so rapidly neutralize what was hailed as a submarine revolution? Did the German command underestimate the enemy's capacity to adapt, or were they blinded by their own illusions? By the spring of 1945, the Type 21 program teetered on collapse. Resources drained into a vessel that never fulfilled its promise, while Allied forces tightened their grip on Europe's coastlines. Production lines, once vibrant, lay in ruins beneath craters and flames. A wartime protocol, stamped top secret, outlines emergency measures to salvage operational boats, but admits limited combat efficacy. Commanders faced impossible choices: deploy flawed submarines or surrender strategic waters. A faded map shows the last known patrol routes, truncated and perilous. The Kriegsmarine's shock was compounded by bitter realization that their super submarine had arrived too late, crippled by logistical nightmares and enemy countermeasures. Could this technological marvel have changed the war if unleashed earlier? Or was it always a mirage, a ghost of victory that vanished before the dawn? Each episode is a document I pull from the dust of the archives. Share your own stories. Many of you have relatives who lived through that time, and your words help connect personal memory with archival evidence. Stay curious. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode tomorrow. In the dim glow of a cramped command bunker, a rusted blueprint of the Type 21 lies pinned beneath a cracked glass case. Faint pencil annotations mark production delays and material shortages, scrawled in hurried script. By late 1944, desperation had overtaken precision. Factories churned out hull sections with minimal quality control, while workers, many untrained, assembled complex electrical systems by rote. The smell of burning insulation and overheated batteries was a constant hazard. According to memoirs from a naval engineer, entire batteries had to be cannibalized from scrapped models to keep a single boat operational. Meanwhile, the Kriegsmarine's high command remained convinced that quantity would compensate for quality. But how was it possible that such glaring defects were overlooked? Was the leadership blinded by the myth of the wonder weapon, ignoring the mounting evidence of failure? And what did the men sent to sea truly know about the machines they operated? At sea, the Type 21's promise of stealth was undermined by unpredictable performance. A patrol report from April 1945 reveals that the submarine's snorkel system, designed to allow air intake while submerged, frequently malfunctioned, forcing dangerous surfacing maneuvers. Crews described the interior as suffocating, with battery fumes seeping through faulty seals. A faded photograph shows a squadron, commander's face, gaunt and haunted, staring out from a porthole as Allied bombers approach. The tactical advantage of prolonged underwater speed was negated by mechanical unreliability and insufficient crew training. The question lingers: when did the illusion of invincibility shatter for those inside? And why did command continue to deploy vessels that were, in effect, ticking time bombs beneath the waves? Behind enemy lines, Allied intelligence grappled with the Type 21's potential threat. Ultra-intercepts hinted at a new class of submarines, though details were sparse and fragmented. A recovered German naval manual, smudged with soot and water stains, revealed the Type 21's specifications in chilling detail. Analysts debated its implications, fearing a shift in the underwater war's balance. Yet, as months passed, reports of successful attacks by these submarines were conspicuously absent. Allied commanders adjusted tactics preemptively, but did their fear of the Type 21 warp strategic priorities? Was the Phantom Menace more dangerous as a rumor than in reality? And how deep did the veil of misinformation spread within both navies? The logistical nightmare extended beyond production to deployment. The Kriegsmarine struggled to train crews on the Type 21's advanced systems, often rushing sailors through abbreviated programs. A training schedule, stamped March 1945, shows a condensed timeline, mere weeks to master complex electric propulsion and new torpedo firing mechanisms. Veterans from earlier U-boat classes found the transition jarring. The new systems were prone to failure and required delicate handling. A handwritten letter from a crewman describes constant repairs during patrols, with morale sinking alongside battery charge meters. Why was training sacrificed at the altar of urgency? Could more experienced crews have mitigated technical flaws, or was the design itself fatally flawed? And what of the psychological toll on men who boarded vessels they knew might not bring them home? Amid the chaos, a secret directive ordered the relocation of unfinished Type 21 boats to inland waterways to avoid Allied air raids. Convoys of barge-towed hull sections crept through narrow canals, vulnerable to sabotage and interception. An aerial reconnaissance photo captures one such convoy under attack, flames licking from a burning barge. The loss of critical components delayed completion further, leaving many submarines stranded in docks or incomplete on slipways. This logistical gambit, intended to preserve the program, instead scattered its resources like ashes in the wind. How did such critical mistakes escape the notice of naval strategists? Was the fragmentation of production a symptom of a failing war machine, or a deliberate act of desperation? And what might have been salvaged had priorities been different? In the final months before Germany's surrender, the Type 21's shadow loomed over a fractured navy. Plans circulated to deploy these submarines en masse to disrupt the final Allied supply lines, yet only a handful ever left port. A classified operational report from April 1945 admits numerous mechanical failures and crew inexperience as primary causes for mission aborts. Radar contact logs show that Allied escorts detected and hunted these boats with increasing efficiency, nullifying their supposed stealth. A haunting photograph shows a Type 21, surfaced and abandoned, its crew evacuated under fire. The Kriegsmarine's shock was profound. Here lay their technological hope, reduced to wreckage by circumstance and misfortune. Could this submarine have turned the tide if given months, not weeks? Or was its failure inevitable, a symbol of a war Germany no longer had the means to win? In the quiet aftermath of the war, Allied investigators descended upon the wrecks and shipyards where Type 21 submarines lay dormant or destroyed. A series of interrogation transcripts reveal astonishing accounts, engineers confessing to sabotage, rushed welds, and intentional delays. Officers lamenting the gulf between the boat's theoretical capabilities and its operational reality. A black and white photo shows a group of captured technicians standing before a half-assembled hull, shadows stretching long in the fading light. The interrogation room smelled of stale smoke and tension, as if the very walls bore witness to the unraveling of a grand illusion. How deep did internal sabotage run within the German war effort? Was this a covert protest against impossible demands, or a symptom of fractured morale? And to what extent did these acts ensure that the Type 21 never lived up to its fearsome reputation. Technical evaluations conducted by the Allies uncovered that many Type 21 boats had been completed with substandard materials, steel plates thinner than specified, and electronic components scavenged from civilian industries. A detailed report includes photographs of corroded battery cells and warped hull segments, evidence of hurried assembly and poor quality control. Even the innovative silent-running electric motors emitted louder noises than anticipated due to manufacturing defects. The reports questioned whether the Type 21 was ever truly combat-ready or served more as a propaganda tool designed to boost morale on the home front. Could the Kriegsmarine's insistence on unveiling the Type 21, despite its flaws, have been a strategic deception? And if so, what was the true cost of this gamble on the German naval psyche? Meanwhile, the Allies themselves grappled with the legacy of the Type 21. Its design influenced post-war submarine development worldwide, with captured blueprints studied in secret laboratories. Yet, no one could ignore the bitter lesson embedded in its failure. The technological innovation alone could not overcome logistical collapse and strategic miscalculation. A faded blueprint from a U.S. naval research facility shows annotations comparing the Type 21's battery capacity with emerging American designs, emphasizing reliability over raw power. The silent halls of these research centers echoed with the realization that the future of naval warfare depended not merely on speed or stealth, but on integration, training, maintenance, and production coherence. How did this experience reshape submarine warfare doctrine? And what ghosts of the Type 21 haunted those who sought to build the next generation of underwater predators? The human stories, hidden within the Type 21 saga, remain haunting. Letters smuggled from the front lines describe sailors' despair, trapped in vessels that promised victory but delivered vulnerability. Diaries recount nights spent listening to the ominous thrum of failing engines, the fear that every patrol might be their last. A sepia-toned photograph captures a young crewman clutching a faded family portrait as his submarine submerged into the dark Atlantic. These personal fragments reveal a gulf between the weird machine's cold engineering and the raw human cost it exacted. What did these men truly think of their super submarine? Did hope cling to the promise of technology, or did they sense the shadow of impending defeat long before the war's end? And how do these voices alter our understanding of the Type 21's place in history? As archival documents continue to surface, the narrative of the Type 21 submarine remains layered with contradictions between myth and reality, ambition and failure, innovation and desperation. Each uncovered memo, photograph, and first-hand account peels back another layer of a story that challenges assumptions about technological determinism in war. The Type 21's legacy is not just of a vessel that failed to change history, but of a complex interplay of human error, industrial collapse, and strategic misjudgment. In the end, the question persists: was the Type 21 a glimpse into the future of naval warfare, or a cautionary tale of how even the most advanced weapons can be rendered powerless by circumstance? And what lessons remain hidden, waiting still in the dust of forgotten archives? Long after the war's end, the Type 21 submarines that survived were seized, dissected, and displayed as trophies in naval yards across the globe. A haunting image remains: a lone Type 21 hull rusting silently in a British dockyard, its sleek lines betrayed by peeling paint and shattered periscopes. Yet beneath the rust and ruin, fragments of its design seeded the Cold War's submarine race, silent killers lurking beneath the oceans, their genesis traced back to this failed marvel. Behind the public facade of triumph and defeat, buried documents reveal secret assessments, The Type 21 was a blueprint for the future, but only after painful lessons in timing, logistics, and human endurance. How much did the Allies owe to the failures of their enemy? And what if the Type 21 had emerged earlier, perfected and plentiful? Would history have turned beneath the waves?